name's Rick Fish. I know from a survey that I sent out that most of you have never been in jail. I have, hundreds of times. The next few minutes I'm going to tell you a story, a private story about my son coming home from Iraq, about his topsy-turvy relationship with his girlfriend, and how one morning he found her dead in the apartment. I'm going to tell you how long it took for the county coroner's office to determine the cause of death. Then I'm going to tell you how long it took before his case came to trial. And then I'm going to tell you about the trial and the outcome and the effect it had on our family. In 2005, the New York Times reported that over 132,000 of the nation's prisoners were serving a life sentence. To me, this figure means that 132,000 families have had their lives turned upside down because of the convictions of these criminals. It's my hopes that when I'm finished with this story, that you'll come away with a different perspective on criminals and suspects, a perspective of family love and of family loss. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that began in 2007 when my son, Clark, came home from Iraq after serving 8 months. The reunion was great. Everybody was glad to see him. We were glad it was over with and that he was able to move on with his life. It wasn't long before Clark got a job and then a girlfriend, Beth. Beth was a veterinary doctor at the veterinary hospital that Clark worked at. Over the next 2 months, things went awry. Drugs and drinking became center stage for both Clark and Beth. Phone calls of drug abuse and physical abuse were coming at me regularly. And then one morning in October, Clark called and told me that he found Beth dead when he woke up. The county coroner took 4 months to determine the cause of death. They said it was strangulation. Clark was arrested, charged with first-degree murder. Clark's defense team told us that he would be in jail for no less than 2 years before his case came to trial. It was unbelievable. I knew that Clark was innocent and that he would be found innocent and released and come home. But to wait 2 years for somebody to hear that story just didn't make any sense to me. Our family knew that Clark was innocent. After all, Beth was found face down on the living room floor, peacefully, with her pajamas on, just as though she had gone to sleep. The trial began in 2009. It was a situation where everybody was anxious. We wanted it over with and we wanted it home. 6 weeks later, any positive outcome came crashing down on us. Clark was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. I still have memories of Clark's upbringing when he was a kid, the different challenges that he had, and they keep coming into my mind all the time. It's been 2 years since his conviction. I still see him walking down the street or in the car next to me. A situation of non-closure, so I'm told by the psychiatric community. It's bittersweet. I have lost loved ones in the past, and I've mourned for them, I've grieved for them, and I've had closure and moved on with my life. But it's not that way with Clark. It's sweet in regards to, or comparison to death, because I can still see Clark, I can visit him, I can talk to him, I can love him, and I can hope for him. Because he's not dead. In conclusion, I've told you about Clark coming home from Iraq. I've told you about his topsy-turvy relationship with his girlfriend and how he woke up one morning and found her dead. I've told you how long it took for the county coroner's office to determine the cause of death and how long it took before his case came to trial. I've told you about the trial and the outcome and the effect that it had on our family. It's my hopes that after you've heard this story, But you'll have a different perspective on criminals and suspects when you hear them being reported on in the news. A perspective of family love and family loss. Thank you.